Good intentions. I am most eager to address the Asian threat. However, we dare not neglect our other pressing concerns. We both know full well that Saint Shiva will not be the last primal we face, and our relationship with Ishgard is still tenuous at best. To think that the resolution of the primal threat was once the sole priority of the Scions of the Seven Dawn. Some days I wonder if it was wise for us to take on so many other responsibilities. Lest you forget that incident, the Scions did not shoulder the burden alone. Were not the Crystal Braves established for this very reason? True, we are presented with a multitude of problems. However, we have all the resources we need to address them in turn. Joseph in particular is ever a steadying hand, who I trust will continue to support the Braves. What do you owe the pleasure? Have there been further developments regarding the situation in Hulda? As expected, the Immortal Flames have been struggling to cope with the revelation that one of their highest-ranking officers was a Garlean agent. Suffice it to say, Talegia, the Legi, and his monoterist ilk have wasted no time in attempting to turn the situation to their advantage. Coupled with ongoing unrest, the Flames are finding themselves hard-pressed. Plainly, General Robon needs our help, and I will direct the Crystal Braves to offer what support they can. If I am to stay abreast of the latest developments and issue effective orders, however, I cannot afford to waste time traveling back and forth. And so for the foreseeable future, I think it would be for the best if I were to remain in Hulda, unless you have an objection. None whatsoever. We have matters here in hand. Moonbreeder's research is proceeding as planned? So she tells me, though I'm not familiar with the details. Urianger is poring over his tomes at the Waking Sands, and the others are contributing to in their own ways. Alas, the key problem, how to form an ethereal blade at will, remains unsolved. Nevertheless, it is only a matter of time. Joseph, while we focus on that task, mayhap you could assist Alfino and his braves with theirs. It would do much to restore faith in the Immortal Flames if the Warrior of Light was seen working on their behalf. Never forget that your esteemed status allows you to act in ways that those more tightly bound to organizations and nations cannot. As ever, I implore you to do so. Not that your response was ever in doubt, but I humbly thank you once more for aiding our cause. Then, there are preparations I must attend to for my department, such as receiving Real's latest reports. He has proven to be quite skilled at gathering information others wish kept secret, hence why I placed him under my direct command and ordered him to investigate the Uldan riots. When you are finished here, join me outside. Depending on what he has to say, I may soon have a favor to ask. If there are any developments on our front, I shall inform you at once in equal fashion. As the Scions of the Seven Dawn have grown in size and influence, so too have their responsibilities, prompting Mainfilia to consider if their expansion was wise. Alfinod, however, does not harbor such concerns, having embraced his role as commander of the Crystal Braves and Guard of Eorzea. The young Galazan now wishes to aid the Immortal Flames in their ongoing efforts to bring stability to Hulda, and he would like your assistance with this as well. Join him outside the Solar and listen to what Riol, his subordinate, has to say. Pleasure as always, Joseph. You'll be escorting the commander to Hulda, I take it. Actually, I had another task in mind for him. If you would be so kind as to repeat your reports for his benefit. Right then. Me and I have been making inquiries into the source of the weapons what found their ways into refugee hands a ways back. So happens we caught wind of something promising. A rather large purchase of sharp and pointing things by a black marketeer holed up near Highbridge. I doubt that this man would have secured such a quantity of weapons if he did not already have clients waiting. client said for whatever reason would prefer for this transaction to remain secret. Just percentage management. Yeah. Brings to mind the merchant what cough an arrow while talking to Joseph, don't it? A generous fellow he was, doling out swords and spears to the down-to-earth and disgruntled. Which isn't to say that his clients have the same mischief in mind, but if you want to be sure, might be prudent to intervene before they collect their goods, savvy? Seizing the weapons before they fall into the wrong hands would be for the best. However, if we strike at the appointed tower, we might capture the black marketeer as well as his clients. What say you, Joseph? Then it is settled. Rendezvous with Captain Hilbert at High Edge and to intervene when the exchange takes place. Now then, if you would excuse me, I must leave for Hulda. I expect good tidings. Riol, who has been attempting to trace the source of some weapons wielded by disgruntled refugees, has learned of a large shipment which may be intended for the same purpose. A black marketeer in Eastern Tunnel and his plates, planning to resell the weapons and reap a tidy profit, unless you and Hilbert intervene before the exchange takes place. Renes was with the captain of the Crystal Brace at Hybrid. Ah, Joseph, my scouts have been keeping a close eye on Black Marketeer, and it would seem that his guests have arrived. It would also seem that he has hired more than a few men to stand guard. Common thugs of no consequence, but they nevertheless pose a threat. Even so, I feel compelled to apologize. This is far beneath a man of your standing, and Commander Levieux needn't have dispatched you either. But powerful men ever have need of loyal, able-bodied friends. Having found one in you, it is only natural that he would come to rely upon you without hesitation. Hilbert informs you that the black marketeer's clients have arrived. With luck, you may prevent the sale of illicit goods, seize the men who covet them, and learn their intent. Alright. Bait and switch. Now then, we should make for the burning wall without delay and secure those weapons. The first unit will ensure that the clients do not escape. With me, Joseph. Gilbert states that the first unit will establish a perimeter, preventing the client's escape while you and he seize the black marketeer and his weapons. Follow the captain to the burning wall and survey the area. I spy the one man, but there are sure to be others. I have a plan. While you approach the sentry and create a distraction, my men and I will slip past and catch the black marketeer unawares. Once you've disposed of the thugs, wait for us outside the tunnel entrance. Any questions? Then let us be off. Good luck, my friend. Although he spies only a single sentry, Hilbert concludes that there must be others in hiding. He bids you create a distraction while he and his men slip past into the tunnels while the black marketeer and his clients are meeting. Approach the lone sentry and strike up a friendly conversation. Who goes there? An adventurer? Damned fool, you should have never come here. The sentry is less than pleased with your presence, and he and his comrades attempt to summarily dispatch you. They do not succeed. Captain Hilbert and his men are nowhere to be seen, and so you have no choice but to wait outside the tunnel as instructed. I don't understand. What's this all about? A sudden scream of agony rings out from within the tunnel. Proceed inside and seek out the source of the disturbance. As you can see, this is a fine mess. When I tried to restrain him, he drew a hidden blade and lashed out, but before I could disarm him, one of my subordinates panicked, and this is the result. How foolish of me to underestimate the bastard and to bring an inexperienced recruit. Commander Levieux will be most disappointed. Damn it all, a golden opportunity wasted. As for the clients, though we know not how they slipped past our perimeter, at present the first is currently tracking a party of the squid sellswords we suspect may be them. Would that we could have enlisted the aid of the immortal flames or the breastplates. Alas, we are here to aid them, they're in no position to aid us. Well, at the very least we have secured the weapons, yet even that accomplishment is lacking, for the information we received indicated a massive shipment, and this is anything but. You find the flustered Hilbert standing over a man who lies motionless in a pool of his own blood. The captain explains that the black marketeer fought back with a hidden blade and that one of his subordinates, fearing for his safety, slew the man. What is worse, a party of the scried sellswords believed to be the clients managed to slip past the first unit, which is currently giving chase. As a final ignominy, it would seem the that Rail's information was erroneous and that the massive shipment of weapons consists of a single wooden crate. Come on, let me in. I found like a flies, like a fingerprint. But this is supposed to match the dozens that you found. I never meant for you to fix yourself. Best laid schemes. I will join the first in their hunt for the Dust Quite Sellswords. If the gods are good, we will catch them before they escape into the Black Shroud. In the meantime, I ask you to deliver these weapons to Hulda in my stance. Entrust them to the third Yuhaze. He will take care of the rest. Ilbert wishes to join the first unit in their pursuit of the Duskwight Sellswords. However, the crate of weapons you and he have confiscated cannot simply be abandoned. He asks that you collect it and deliver it in his stead to Yuhaze of the Third. With remarkable ease, you secure the wooden crate filled with weapons. All that remains is to leave it in the care of Yuhaze, who can be found on the steps of Fallen Ulda. Ah, the Warrior of Light, ever reliable friend to the Crystal Braves. You have my deepest thanks for your assistance in Corfas. Now, what it was this day? A gift of weapons from a certain black marketeer courtesy of Captain Ilbard, you say? Understood. Once we've catalogued the contents, I'll have them delivered to the Hall of Flames. This cannot be everything, can it? Riles stated with confidence that there would be a far greater quantity of weapons. A blatant falsehood. Clearly Rial isn't familiar with the ways of Hulda merchants, who ever strive to present themselves as greater than they are. We should be thankful that his information was not completely erroneous, and that we managed to achieve anything of worth at all. It's still something worth celebrating, isn't it, Lieutenant? Besides, we've got more important things to worry about, like fighting those Garleans up north. There'll be no fighting if I have anything to say about it. Our orders are to stand watch and to seek glory in battle. If you have no further need of us, then I shall take my unit to the Garlean processing plant. Time for the fourth to earn the keep, huh? Fight well, Aline. For the freedom of all. For the freedom of all! Excellent work as always, my friend. Rest assured that the Immortal Flames will hear your contribution. Until we meet again. Joseph, a word if it please you. Not here. Look for me at the Sapphire Avenue exchange. No need for whistling this time, don't you worry. You find Yuhasa conversing with Aline of the 4th Unity and a subordinate Wildred, and place the crate of weapons at their feet. Although Aline struggles to accept that the single crate is the entirety of the shipment, Yuhasa dismisses the discrepancy of Rial's failure. After you part ways with the three braves, Real steps from the shadows and begs a private audience, though he does not explain why. Seek him out at the Sapphire Avenue Exchange. Thanks for indulging me requests. Few places better than the market for privacy, I find. All the hustle and the bustle of commerce means most conversations go unnoticed. I'll get to the point. At the burning wall, when you and the captain interrupted the exchange, what happened? Tell me everything, leave no detail out. That's not quite how the first told it. This the squids that they were chasing. In the latest word is that we lost the trail. But you never saw him yourself, not before the fighting started and not after. Something ain't right. I don't know what it is, but I can feel it in me bones. I'm not daft enough to be misled by some merchant's drunken boasts. Our information was reliable, goddammit. I know he purchased those weapons. As if I've ever deciphered a moneylender's books or had to follow a transaction back to its source. Did plenty of that back when the Braves were getting started. Believe me, the commander wanted assurances that we weren't taking gil from the wrong sort of benefactors. Of course, these days the money flows like water and the first and third gets the shiniest new toys. Forgive me, friend. I've a lot on my mind these days and I appreciate you leading an ear. Right then, best get back to it. Joseph, can you hear me? This is Tataru. Your presence is urgently requested at the Rising Stones. Please come and see me as soon as you are able. After listening to your account of events at the burning wall, Riol shakes his head in disbelief and insists that something is not right. He reiterates his claim that there should have been more weapons, crediting his experience deciphered financial transactions as he once did for the Crystal Braves to ensure that no funds came from unstationed sources. Though such precautions are no longer taken, it would seem. Apologizing for his outburst, he takes his leave moments before Tataru summons you to Revenant's Stall via Link Pearl. Return to the Rising Stones and speak with the receptionist. Thank you for coming so quickly, Joseph. We've a guest from Mishkard who wishes to speak with you. Most determined lady by all indications. Tataru thanks you for returning so quickly and states that the guest from Mishkar has requested your presence. Given the urgency of the receptionist's summons, it seems likely that the envoy has a dangerous task in mind. All we do is smile daily. The rising chorus. Our guest is with the antecedent in a solar at present. Let's not keep them waiting any longer, shall we? Brooking on the late, Tataru bids you follow her to the solar to meet with the antecedent who is waiting for you with the Ishgardian envoy. Proceed within and speak with Minfilia.
We have a guest from Ishgard who wishes to speak with you. I believe the two of you have met.
We have. I had hoped to speak with Commander Leveilleur as well, but I cannot afford to wait any longer. The Lord Commander sent me hither to request your aid in a matter of grave import.
You see now why I had Tataru summon you.
Now that we're all assembled, perhaps you would be good enough to elaborate on the nature of the matter which brought you to us.
The Observatorium's astrologians have sounded the alarm. Last night, the Dragonstar burned with an intensity not seen in 15 summers, not since the Dravanians engaged the Empire in the Battle of Silvertear Skies.
The northern sky doth burn full bright upon the Wormlord's call. The red behemoth beckoneth, and flame consumeth all.
The old Curthan rhyme, aye. The brightening of the Dragonstar is said to accompany the roar of a great worm. The astrologians believe that it was Midgard Soma himself who cried out on this occasion.
After an absence of centuries, the King of Kings did return to lead his kind against the might of Garlemald, only to fall in his duel with the Agrius, proud flagship of the Garlean fleet. Devoid of life, his corpse remaineth entwined about the Magitech monstrosity even unto this day.
Ariange has the right of it. Whatever this alteration in the Dragonstar portends, the Great Worm has shown no sign of life. Tataru, have the Domans reported aught out of the ordinary?
Correct me if I'm wrong, but if Midgard-Zorma had roared, wouldn't we have heard it here in Revenant's Toll?
Roar is but a figure of speech. Dravanians can communicate in ways beyond our ken. It is for this very reason that we are forced to look for signs in the heavens. We cannot say with any confidence that a great worm roared at all, much less that it was Midgard-Zorma. Only by directly examining the Keeper of the Lake can we be certain. However, it will take too long to gain the Holy See's approval to dispatch the Temple Knights. Therefore, Sir Emric would entrust this task to you. Do you accept? We knew you would not disappoint us. Now, if you would excuse me, I must return and assist the Lord Commander. We have precious little time to prepare.
To prepare for what, pray tell?
When a great worm roars, his brethren cannot choose but answer. We prepare for battle.
Forgive me if I state that which you already know, but I would ensure that you understand the nature of your destination. As Urianger stated, what we now call the Keeper of the Lake is the wreckage of the Agrius, former flagship of the Imperial fleet, and the corpse of the worm responsible for its destruction. 15 years ago, as a next step in his campaign to subjugate Eorzea, Gaius von Balzar attempted to seize control of Mordona. So massive was his force that all thought his victory a foregone conclusion. But an unlikely ally came to Eorzea's aid that day. Migdar Somar, the legendary guardian of Silvertear Falls, burst forth from beneath the waters of the lake and led a host of dragons against the Garlean airship overhead. In what would later become known as the Battle of Silver Star Skies, the Great Worm felled countless airships before engaging the Agrius. In the ensuing struggle, the flagship's Corleum engines failed and it tumbled into the lake below. Yet this victory came at a great cost, for the explosion which followed claimed the life of the Great Worm as well. The same explosion transformed Silvertear Falls into the desolate wasteland it is today, draining the lake of its waters and crystallizing ether from alms around. Yet a remnant of the lake remains, and at its center a constant reminder of that fateful day long ago. I need water. In accordance to Sir Emric's wishes, our Doman allies have been standing watch over the Keeper of the Lake. It would be wise to speak with them before investigating the wreckage yourself. Be careful, my friend. We know not what dangers await you within. Now then, let us not neglect our own tasks. There is much to be done and precious little time to do it. Waiting for you in the Solar is Lucius, Sir Emmerich second in command, who has come on his behalf to request your assistance with a matter of grave import. The astrologians of the Observatorium have interpreted recent signs as an indication of Migdor Sommer's imminent resurrection. Alas, the Knights of Ishgard are in no position to dispatch forces to the Keeper of the Lake at present, and so Sir Emmerich would have you investigate the wreckage on their behalf and ascertain the veracity of the astrologians' claims. Before proceeding to the Keeper of the Lake, however, Minfield advises you to speak with a Doman watch who has been stationed on the northern shore. You're in luck, sir. I was about to send a word to Revenant Stoll about the Garleans. Of late I've seen small airships, likely from Castrum Sentry, come and go from the Keeper of the Lake. Though I cannot say for certain at this distance, I believe that they may still be salvaging something from within the wreckage. The Castrum supply lines have been cut for some time, and I'd wager they're desperately in need of spare parts and other equipment. So it's true then, the Ishgardians honestly fear that a war might rise again. Well, from here that seems rather unlikely, but if it's assurances they want, you've no choice but to inspect the corpse in its entirety. Easier said than done, given the creatures which inhabit it in a wreckage, and the aforementioned Garleans who won't take it kindly to your presence. They're sure to fire upon an airship, so I'd advise a more stealthy approach. Take this boat and a few of your comrades to the base of the Agrias, then climb to the top. That's the only viable approach, I'd say. The Doman Watch reports that forces from Castrum Sentry have been scavenging materials from the wreckage, but that otherwise a distant monument has shown no signs of activity. Given the Imperial presence, a stealthy approach will be necessary. Gather your allies and take the Watch's boat to the base of the Agrias and survey the fallen airship from bottom to top.
Who treadeth now upon my bones, and waketh me from slumber sweet? Thou hast forgotten the face of thy lord. Remember, mortal, and fear me. By her gifts hast thou earned a moment's reprieve. Speak, mortal, and I shall listen. Guided
So,
by
part
a
to
star.
Shadow of War. Let's finish that.
My people have heard the song. Ishgard shall burn. Sons must answer for their father's misdeeds. We do not forget. We do not forgive. 7 children did I sire. One now singeth of retribution. I rise to join in the chorus. Thou art powerless to silence us, mortal. Yet thou shalt not live to labor in vain. Thy reprieve is at an end. Trickery is thy shield. This frail, ignoble creature is not gifted, but chosen. Hearken to me, Hydaelyn. I remember, and I consent. Fear